You knew that this video was coming sooner or later. So let's talk about ChatGPT. Are you scared that AI will take your job? Or do you think that AI will boost software developers' productivity? Or you just simply have been living under a rock for the past few months and want to know what people are saying about ChatGPT? Either way, there's something in the air and it smells exciting. Let's find out if AI will replace programmers. So what I did is I actually created an app for this. And let me just build and run this. What I have collected here is an array basically of YouTube comments from developers because there are a lot of these videos on the web, and I have just cherry picked my favorite ones right over here. I'm also going to comment on these, so let's just see. Of course, all of them are anonymized. These names are just funny names, and also the posting date and the likes on them, and also the number of replies are just random right over here. What is in fact real is the actual comment. If you have been thinking of learning SwiftUI and Core Data, then I'm happy to announce that now you can master both of them in 6 weeks. All you have to do is join SwiftUI Camp. The live group coaching starts next week, and I got a discount link of 50% off down in the description. Join now, there are only 4 seats left. So let's just start off. I currently use it as a tool for explaining more so than producing code. It's really good at concisely explaining software patterns with simple working examples, etc. It explained Docker to me and helped me Dockerize my application in minutes. I think it would take longer to find the information myself. Yes, this is something that I use quite a lot. So let's say I want to find something, I have to Google it, I have to kind of skim through all of the search results. Maybe if I go on Stack Overflow, one of the links is a Stack Overflow link, I have to go through all of the answers and then just kind of do it myself. I have to be the judge of my own answer to my own question. So let's just go for the second one. I find GPT is a better tutor and assistant than a full replacement. It's really sped up my workflow. Yes, again, as you can see, its speed is crucial right over here. It's a better tutor and assistant than a full replacement. Yes and no, because you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions so you get the answer that you are looking for. So in that matter, your fashion bone tutor would kind of understand what you mean, or it would just come up with follow-up questions, or it will know your history, the context of your question, and we are going to talk about that also. So this is a good explanation about how it can be used for tutoring or just learning in general. I frequently ask ChatGPT how to speed up my code, and I already had some major improvements out of that. Also, it's a charm to write docs based on the function and create unit tests. Obviously needs to be double checked. Yes, I found this to be really, really helpful, creating documentation and also unit tests. It's a charm to do it. It's really, creating these tests are really, really tedious, and it's obviously it's quite hard. So I kind of recommend doing the docs and testing with it. Obviously, yes, you need to double check on that code because sometimes it just spits out rubbish. So yes, you can use that. Next up is AI won't replace jobs. People who know how to take advantage of AI will. Yes, and this is kind of a rephrase on, like, you have to think a bit differently than, is my job secure, or will I lose my job to AI? If you adapt, then you will still get a job. Who take advantage of AI will still have a job. GPT-4 has doubled the context window of 3.5. And then there are those tokens, they are actually the doubles of the previous one. And there's a beta GPT-4 with even double of that tokens of context. That's around 15 A4 sheets of memory. That's a lot of memory. And you have to be aware of this, because if you ask a lot of questions, and you will, after a while, you will get out of memory. So it will just simply forget things. And of course, you can have a little bit of trick, but yeah, this is going nuts. We are going to have a lot of tokens. Now, as a beginner, I think it is okay to use it, but with moderation. Sure, it's faster than Google, but you still need to go over documentation and examples by yourself if you want to learn. Agreed. It is also useful to code review, and even if it prompts the solution, it's always a good idea to ask it to explain in depth on how things work and also show at least another example. And by the way, it is really great at explaining things, even if the code is self-generated. So yeah, I totally agree. Hey, I'm at the beginning of my learning process, doing free code camp, thinking about giving the Odin project a shot, and also about to finish Super Simple Dev's HTML/CSS course. Okay, how does the newfound importance of AI change the learning process for a beginner? Now, yeah, this is a good thing. Free code camp, the Odin project, Super Simple Dev, they are kind of structured. You get structured instructions on how to learn, where to learn. If you're a beginner, I would just highly recommend following somebody or some project. Free code camp is a great example. And if you want to check out SwiftUI, make sure to check out the link in the description for a 50% off. And yeah, we are going to learn SwiftUI with core data, because these kind of projects or SwiftUI camp, they are organized. It's like not just spitting out information. So if you're a beginner, I highly recommend starting off with some organized learning. Next up, I started using with the same intent to see if it will replace me. So far, I found it really good for documenting code. Yes, what we were talking about. I just explain to it the documentation I want, and then I give it my function, and the results are shockingly good. Yes, congratulations. Okay, so in my opinion, GPT won't replace programmers anytime soon. It will elevate them and increase productivity. Everyone from junior to senior engineers can benefit. And this is my experience of it also. I think that if you have the right prompts, you can give the right questions, then it can elevate productivity. That's for sure. It can speed up things for you. Of course, you have to know coding, you have to know programming, you have to know what you are trying to build out. At the end of the day, it has to be double checked. I use ChatGPT mostly to help me understand some code. Example, some code that seems ambiguous. And also with debugging. I would say it is definitely a useful tool to have for software developers. Yes, if you have a more elaborate code and you don't want to scratch your head, what's this variable? You can just put it in and let ChatGPT just simply explain it to you. And maybe, if you're lucky, it can also debug the code. It can find really easily bugs for you. I try to avoid using ChatGPT for most of my work just so I don't become too dependent on it. However, it is very good for code refactoring. Yes, another good thing is code refactoring. It can really easily refactor your code. You have 200 lines of code in one file. Just give it a refactor. It's really, really great. And yes, it can get you too dependent on it. After using ChatGPT for a lot of my schoolwork, I didn't think it will replace programmers. That's a good take on it, actually. I noticed in the beginning I asked very simple questions, but as I learned more and more, I asked more complicated questions. So if I did not know what I was doing, I would not get a good enough answer out of it. It's never smarter than the question it is asked. Yes, I love this ending. It's never smarter than the question it is asked. You have to know how to ask a good question so you are getting a great answer. Sometimes you need to just remind the AI of things it has forgotten, like your middleware function. It apologizes and fixes the problem. Hopefully, this will improve in the future. Yes, it does forget things because, it has a certain memory. Of course, over time, this may be improved, and it apologizes and fixes the problem or not. So you still have to double check on that. Maybe it will just fix it on the second run. I currently don't think that ChatGPT will replace the role of a software engineer. I've been using the GPT-4 for solving some arithmetic questions in code. It was having a hard time compiling. Yes, of course. These hard stuff, it has to be a human. So far, ChatGPT has not yet replaced me, but it has made me a much better developer. Yes, most probably you are asking it the right questions. My company banned usage of AI like ChatGPT. If the developer can't write the code itself, he is going to be fired. Simple as that. Yes, these measures can be applied. And if you agree or not, that it doesn't really matter. It's just company policy. And that's that. However, I do recommend that you, even if it's not for your company, then you just check it out. And of course, you have to be aware of not, adding there like company secrets, but you should just definitely check it out. ChatGPT is a serious life changer. Explained concepts much better than my lecturers. Okay, good for you then. Most probably your lecturers are not that good. I use ChatGPT to explain concepts to myself since I am studying data analysis on my own. It is very useful when I have doubts about something. It's like a teacher. Yes, indeed. So if you are a self-taught developer, you like to do this on your own, this is a life changer. It's kind of like, again, a tutor, but it's not like you are going to have kind of a roadmap or no, you have to have a structured a way of learning. And if you have doubts about anything that you learn, you just ask it. One thing I'd recommend is asking ChatGPT to fix its own code. Yes, this is really great. If you tell the program of its errors, it will apologize and approach it through a different method and sometimes fix the program altogether. Yes, so it's not like, okay, give me the code and then, oh, it's not working. Just be patient with it. Extremely useful. It's like having a personal teacher to answer those small things books and teachers gloss over. Yeah, so the small things, the little details, the basics, it knows really, really well. ChatGPT is so helpful for learning to code or use new frameworks, libraries, etc. No more pouring through forums or documentation for hours, just straightforward, fast and mostly correct answers to specific coding questions. Yes, so mostly correct answers. That's why you really really need to know what you're talking about. It's just kind of a more speedy way of writing code. That's my opinion. I cannot believe they already made prompt engineer a job. Neither do I. I'm halfway through my degree in software engineering. I thought I had finally figured out what I want to do with my life. Now I'm not even sure there will be anything for me to do in 2 years. Don't worry. You just need to at least adapt, and don't worry. That software engineering degree will help you a lot. And it's not about, just replacing engineers. You have to learn, you have to master your craft. It's not just about pouring out code. It's about soft skills. It's about your whole knowledge, your approach, architecture. There's a lot of things that software developers do besides just typing out code. So don't worry, you will not lose your job. At least it will be a little bit more competitive, but you will have access to all of those jobs. Don't change your plans. The best you can do is keep studying and improving, just what I said. In the worst scenario, you will still be able to create your own product or work for small companies created by people that lost their jobs. Yes, of course. And yeah, AI will take over most entry-level software developer jobs. Good luck finding a job. Now, this is really harsh. I do believe that junior developers will have a much harder time, but anyway, you gotta start somewhere. So why not embrace AI even as a junior developer? Glad that I'm not the only person low-key panicking about the recent AI advancements. Having studied psychology and computer science and wanting to get into the field of technology policy is feeling like a better choice every day. Yes, some people will change careers. They will just pivot away from software development, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay. But in my take on it is that software developers will be kind of the last ones who will lose their jobs over AI. So of course there are other more human interactive jobs, but yeah, software developers are quite safe in my opinion. I think the tech industry will cut more developers and software employees in general, but the position themselves will not become obsolete. There will just be less needed. Yes, and I totally agree. The industry will try to hijack this. They will fire a lot of developers. Anyway, I do think that the market is oversaturated and there are a lot of not so good developers. So most probably they are going to filter more. GPT-4 is a powerful tool, but using it wisely can be tough. I tried to use ChatGPT for my project, however, I had difficulty making a function including my existing functions, yes, even though the function only has 5 lines of code, because communicating with ChatGPT was so expensive, it made more sense for me to write the code myself. Yes, currently it's limiting. You want to focus on small ideas, small projects. It's not really ideal for large-scale projects with huge architectures. So yeah, make sure that you use the tool for what it's created for. As programmers, we did a lot by sharing our learnings online, only to find out AI learned it all. Yeah, this was really funny. I had to include this. And finally, every seasoned YouTube programmer is telling us we're screwed. Oh boy. Well, actually, not everybody. I'm not telling this. I even think that AI will help us be better programmers. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think that this app that I have just shown you, with the sliding feature and the comments, was this built by ChatGPT or myself? Leave your comments down below. And if we are going to have a like count of 100, I will finally reveal it as a pinned comment down below. So yeah, make sure to smash that like button. And if you want to learn more about Xcode 14.3 new releases, go ahead and check out the amazing video right over here.